Ronald Irwin McNair was an American NASA astronaut and physicist. He loved science and technology. He loved to learn about lasers and airplanes and rockets. Ron McNair was one of the first 3 African Americans to go into space, and some of the projects that Ron pioneered during his short life are now part of the technology of the International Space Station. Many of you will remember that Ronald McNair, along with 6 of his fellow astronauts, died during the launch of the Space Shuttle Challenger on January 28, 1986. But Ron's story continues to live on, and this is one of those stories. It's a beautiful, bright, sunny day, and 9-year-old Ron rolls out of bed, gets dressed as fast as he can. He's so excited that he doesn't have time for breakfast, and he even takes a rain check on shooting hoops with his friend Carl. "I've got something important to do," he says. Ron is on a mission. Ron is heading for the public library. He's a regular there. Everyone knows him. He loves books and spends a lot of his free time reading about airplanes and rockets, astronauts, and space. Ron has a dream that one day he'll become a pilot and fly his own plane and maybe someday become an astronaut. But on this beautiful, bright, sunny day, 9-year-old Ron also has a dream about having his own library card. He wants to be able to check out his own books and read them in his own home. There's just one problem. The library in Ron's hometown has a rule. Only white people can check out books from the library. This makes Ron very unhappy. And Ron knows that it isn't fair that black people, like himself, can only read the books while they're in the library, that they're not allowed to get their own library card and bring the books home. Ron knows that this is not right. Ron walks into the library and says hello to Mrs. Scott. She's the librarian. She knows Ron really well. "Great to see you today, Mrs. Scott," Ron says. Ron finds the books that he wants to read, and he brings them to the checkout counter. "I'd like to check out these books, please," he says politely. The library worker just ignores him. "Excuse me, I'd like to check these books out," Ron says again. And again, the library worker continues on with her work, ignoring Ron like he's not even there. All Ron wants to do is check out the books, bring those books home and read them in his home, just like his white friends do. Ron doesn't agree with the rule, so you know what 9-year-old Ron does on this beautiful, bright, sunny day? He jumps up on the counter and says it one more time. "I'd like to check out these books, please." Finally, the library worker looks at Ron and says, "You can read them right here, Ron. That's the rule. Only white people can check out books from the library." "Well, this rule is not fair," Ron says. "I always read them here. Today, I want to check them out and take them home." Well, as you can imagine, people are beginning to notice what's happening, but no one knows what to do. Someone calls the police, and the police come, but they don't know what to do. They call Ron's mom, and when she gets there, she tells Ron that he has to follow the rules. "I can't, Mama. It's wrong. The rules are not fair. Why can't I check out books like everyone else?" Well, that's a really good question, but no one says anything. Not the library worker, not Mrs. Scott, not the policeman, not even Ron's mom. Finally, Mrs. Scott, the librarian, looks at Ron, and she thinks about all the times that he's come into the library and all the times that he sits at the tables for hours reading so many books. She tells everyone to just wait for a moment, and she disappears into her office, and she starts writing. And everyone wonders what she's doing. Mrs. Scott finally comes back to the checkout counter and walks up to Ron with everyone standing there, and she hands him a library card. It's his library card. It has his name on it. Well, Ron smiles from ear to ear and then jumps down onto the floor and turns to the library worker. "I'd like to check out these books, please," he says, handing the library card, his library card, to the library worker. She stamps his library card and stamps the books and then hands them back to Ron and says, "These books are due back in 2 weeks, Ron." Again, Ron smiles from ear to ear as he tucks the books under his arm, takes his mother's hand, and now he's on a new mission. He can't wait to get home to read his books about airplanes and rockets, astronauts, and space. Ron McNair, the little boy in the story, grew up believing that everyone should be treated fairly and with respect, that everyone, no exceptions, should be able to have a library card. Friends, Ron left a lasting legacy that no dream is too great to follow and no mission for the sake of justice is too great to embrace. That's Ron's story for today, and I'm sticking to it. How about you?